Can the Star Wars franchise learn to let go? Constantine 2 is really happening. Denis Villanueve goes back to Arrakis for one last job, and director Isaac Florentine calls in to discuss his new film, Hounds of War.
Oh, it's time for class.
Class is in session!
Roll call! Bueller?
I'm gonna be late for class.
Bueller?
Am I hallucinating here? Just what in the hell do you think you're doing?
I'm late for class.
You are mine now. You belong to me.
Did you study for the test?
No more complaining. No more Mr. Kimble to go to the bathroom. Nothing. There is no bathroom.
Hello, classmates, and welcome to another episode of Middle Class Film Class. I'm your host for today, Joseph.
I'm Peter.
No Tyler over there. And
Is that Rust Cole?
I guess it is.
It's a fan interpretation of how cool Rust actually looks in Tyler's head. That's what he looks like all the time.
That is, I think, taped to the ceiling of Tyler's room.
It's above his bed.
Yeah. He's got a waifu pillow of Rust Cole.
Yeah, it does not surprise me at all.
Will not put it past him.
No.
Welcome everyone on YouTube Live and otherwise, and of course the OG classmates listening in podcast land.
Yeah, that's right.
It's just me and old Pete over here.
That's right. Just the two of us.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to call you old Pete.
That's okay. You can call me old Pete. I know I'm the old one of the group. That's okay. Pop.
Yeah, and
Brianna likes to call me that when I screw up technology.
oh, I thought it was like her version of like daddy.
No, sir. That's Pedro.
Okay. But yeah, here we are. How was the week?
Looks good. Yeah, my cousin's visiting Jeremy. He's from San Diego. He's the one that lives on a boat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's visiting up here. My niece is, I guess technically his niece is turning 1 today.
Mm-hmm.
So we got a little family get together tomorrow. So he's visiting.
Okay.
He's sleeping on this couch right here.
Oh, the very one behind me.
Yes, the one.
Slept in the studio.
That's right. Yeah, I put him on mic last night because he has a crippling fear of being recorded, audio and video. We got a little drunk.
Okay.
And then I was like, hey, come sit right here, right in front of the camera.
Yeah.
And he's looking at the screen like, this is terrifying. This is what we call exposure therapy.
Literally, you put on all the lights and everything?
The whole shebang. It was funny.
Must have been overwhelming.
Yeah, he was a little soused.
Oh, okay.
So he's like, okay.
Soften the blow a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, no Tyler over there. He's, God knows where he is. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
And the life he lives.
He's repairing a sprinkler system or something.
He's a landscaper now.
Yeah,
he's
he's no longer delivering packages. He's
started a business.
Yeah, he got a sprinkler tool, went to Home Depot, asked the guys for advice.
Yeah.
He's like, is this a 45-degree angle or a 180? I'm not sure. Please help me. I'm way over my head.
Well, he'll figure it out.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, so.
But yeah, we have a super exciting show.
Yeah.
To get to.
I can't wait. Let's get to it.
Yeah. Now's the time for Gavin Chatter.
That's right.
Find some charity, ye lad. Now's the time for Gavin Chatter.
Gavin Chatter movie news, and this week movie interviews.
Yes.
A little rhyme for you.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we have a director of Isaac Florentine.
Yeah.
Of the new up and coming. I don't know if it's actually been released yet.
No, it's coming out on Friday. So to get them on here. So we have joining us on the show today is the director of the brand new action drama from XYZ Films starring Robert Patrick, Rana Mitra, and Frank Grillo called Hounds of War. It's out on video and demand this coming Friday, the 20th. We have Isaac Florentine. How's it going, Isaac? How are you, man?
Very good.
Yes. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Beautiful. Good to see you, man. How are you?
Very good.
Yeah. Where you zooming in from?
Florida.
Florida.
Florida. Jewel of the East Coast. Is that your permanent residence out there?
Yes, it is.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And then I can't really see behind you that stack. Are those records or that physical media? That wall of stuff behind you? Yeah.
Martial arts books and magazines since, I started collecting in 1971, 72.
Wow.
There's some DVDs.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, very cool.
And there's a here and a guitar and a few other banjos in the
Wow.
Oh, yeah, dope. I collect guitars as well. I love it. That's cool. You bleed martial arts. You've been collecting forever, and your catalog is primarily, fight-based stuff, action-based stuff. You've worked in the Undisputed franchise, the Power Rangers franchise, the Ninja franchise, and then now you have this Frank Grillo movie, Hounds of War.
Yes, correct.
How was the filming that? Because I know it was set in Malta. For the people who haven't seen the trailer for it yet, it's a beautiful looking movie, and I think the features and like the setting of it is just a huge benefit for it. How was filming that?
There isn't an easy movie. If somebody will tell you it's an easy movie or easy scene or whatever, there's always challenges
Yeah.
or opportunities to overcome challenges, as I see it. You know, it was difficult to get to find the right locations or to book them or to log them, because I lost some of the locations before shooting, and then I had kind of to reconfigure, and even during shooting, which really catches you in a situation that you have to run after your tail and catch up. The crew was a combination of crew from Malta, stunt team from Germany, a lot of crew came from Bulgaria.
Oh, cool.
Done 15 movies there, so I feel comfortable with those. Of course, from the States, even from Israel. So it was international crew.
Yeah, you're not joking.
From all over the world.
Yeah. Is this the first time you've worked with Frank Grillo or Robert Patrick?
Yes, first time that I worked with them.
Those are big names. I think those are like very eye-catching, people with a storied past that are going to be, definitely bringing in the audience to see. And I am 100% bought and sold on Grillo. I've loved his catalog, especially in the last few years.
Hopefully this movie will do well. What can I say? We worked hard on it.
You got Frank Grillo and you got the
Let's see.
T-1000.
Yeah. Basically, the plot for our listeners is you have a group of like mercenaries they're called the Hounds, and they're essentially getting together for one last job. And Grillo has, he's swore he wasn't going to do it again. He came back for one last job, and I'll let the movie, the plot itself play out. But things don't go great, and there's no shortage of actions, no shortage of creative ways to fight. The fight choreography is fun. The gunplay, lots of squibs. I don't know what the ratio of digital to practical squibs, but it was a solid looking fight sequences. A lot of solid looking fight sequences. And one thing I'll say that I really loved about this movie was that your cinematographer Erickson Core, he was from the original Fast and the Furious movie. He did the Point Break movie in 2015, and then even like Daredevil. So he's worked on a ton of like notable movies, and there was some phenomenal lighting setups in this and the way the camera was moving. So the two of you guys together really made a beautiful looking movie.
I think that it's more than two, because I want to mention the camera operator, also Ross Clarkson, that I've done about 10 movies with. I think when it comes to operating and doing fights, I think he's the best in the world. I do with him the Undisputed movies, the Ninja movies.
Yeah.
So he when he takes the camera, magic comes. And Erickson was more than a DP. I think for me, he was one of the producers in this movie. His contribution was way beyond being a DP. He's a fantastic person, and he's a problem solver for all of the department. He was like really a leader, a general in that movie.
That's great. It's really nice to have. I mean, you talk to a lot of like young filmmakers who are trying to get into the business, and everybody wants to know how to get in, how to break through or whatever. And I feel like a big part of it that people don't talk about is finding someone that you trust, that that we worked on this small project together and we're going to move on to bigger things, and you kind of level up together with these trusted allies in the industry. So shooting the same crew for 10, 15 movies, you already know what you're getting yourself into, and there's a huge trust factor there.
That's absolutely right. A good friend of mine that passed away years ago, actor Paul Smith, that was in Midnight Express, the bad guy, and
Oh, wow.
was in Popeye with Robin Williams, played Brutus, and many other movies. Told me this is about 35 years ago. Told me it's a war to get a movie, and it's a war to do a movie, so you go to war with your friends. Absolutely right. If you work with somebody and you learn to work with him, and both of you are continuing to cooperate over the years, it's a benefit for everybody, because they know you. You don't have to talk too much.
Yeah.
You don't have to explain so much. Absolutely, it comes across. Yes.
That's beautiful.
So, talking about it, I'd like to mention a few other people.
Yes, please.
I want to mention David Wald. David Wald was the action director and the fight choreographer. And talking about old friendship, David and I worked already in Power Rangers 31 years ago.
Oh, nice.
And his contribution was very important for this movie. And also Mike Moeller from Germany, that also has a role in the movie, but he brought the stunt team and was also doing also some of the fight choreography with David. And I mean, it's a team of people, of friends that I trust, and they will do way and beyond to overcome and to bring this mission to a success. And a movie like this is a mission because you don't have a lot of shooting days, you don't have a lot of budget, you try to achieve as much as possible.
Yeah.
That basically on the team. That's what it is.
Yeah, and I know. I mean, you're talking about shooting any type of movie. There's challenges, there's roadblocks, there's whatever. I a lot of times we say on the show that it's a miracle that any movie is even made because of just how
Absolutely.
monumental of a task it is to shoot it. Nonetheless, a short. And Joseph, you can't see him on the camera, but he's sitting just to my right.
Hello.
Hey, Joseph is he's our camera guy. He's been, he's went to film school. He's done actual productions and shot short films and this and that. And it's like, and I've been in a very, very small part of some of those. And just seeing the extravagant nature of taking something that's going to ultimately be a 7-minute or less short is so wild. And then, shooting overseas in these exotic nature or locales with big camera setups and big lighting setups. And then on top of it, you got huge teams of people to do all this fight choreography. Is like, it really is a huge accomplishment. And, the finished product at the end of the day, I think is a really fun one. So I think that people are going to enjoy this, and it's coming out Friday, September 20th on digital and VOD. So I'd recommend, viewers, if action stuff is right up your alley and you want something that looks great and is also a lot of fun, Hounds of War is a really solid one. So yeah, good. Love the movie. It's very solid.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you got it.
Kind of extrapolating on Pete's point earlier about filmmaking and the accomplishment of an achievement that is filmmaking in general, and the fact that you can just organize people together alone to plan a movie is an achievement on its own. And then getting you all together
And
again.
if I can add,
Yeah, getting you all together again to then actually make the movie and hit and say action and hit record and put up lights is another achievement. So it's just like achievement after achievement, and then the end product is like, this is all of our efforts put together at the end of it.
absolutely 100% right. And sometimes I go to a film festival and there is winner or not winner, and I'm saying, no. There is no winner 1, 2, and 3. The fact that people have already a movie in a festival, that they finish the movie, they're already winners. They're already winners. So that's what it is.
Now, I got a question for you as far as like how you got yourself into the action genre niche. Obviously, it's a passion for you. You got all the martial arts books behind you. You've been collecting them for years. What's the earliest type of like martial arts that really spoke to you? Because there's all different parts of the world have different types of fight styles. What speaks to you?
I saw late 60s, a James Bond movie, You Only Live Twice.
Oh yeah,
It happens in Japan. And it showed karate. And I saw it as a child and I was totally fascinated. I was really fascinated. And it was a dream as a child to learn it. And a few years later, I got lucky and I joined the karate dojo. And I basically promised myself that no matter what, I will never, ever, ever quit, will never leave it. So 53 years later, I'm still a karate man. I still train. So that's the base. That was the martial arts, that's my base, and I still love it with a passion. I did some other stuff, of course, during the years. You see that there is more. I mean, the differences between the arts are not that big, So, but that's really my base and my passion.
Nice. I love it. I've been kind of exposing myself to a lot of the Hong Kong original kind of classic Hong Kong cinema lately. The stuff that it's inspired some of the Quentin Tarantino stuff, like the Shaw Brothers and a lot of those Shaw productions, and Hong Kong martial arts and that sort of kung fu. And there's some really fantastic, movies that kind of break apart what the most superior fighting style is. And the funny thing is, a lot of them are doing the exact same thing. They're saying, "Oh yeah, this is kung fu, and this is karate, and this is taekwondo, and this is Muay Thai." But they're all very similar. This one has this type of weapon, and this one has that one, and they're very similar. They're like,
as a matter of fact, until 1936, karate was written as the Chinese hand, Tang Te. And in 1936, they changed it because they wanted to kind of Japanize it, from the Chinese hand to the empty hand. So, and karate really comes from Kung Fu. It's different, but the roots are Chinese fighting arts that arrived to Okinawa, and there it became karate. So it was influenced totally by Chinese Kung Fu. Also, Siamese arts, what is called today Thai boxing, so arrived there. So it's all a blend, and something that people don't know. A lot of the high kicks that are used in karate, and later from there they arrived to Taekwondo, came from French savate, French boxing that was popular at the late 19th century. So it was always a synthesis between East and West. Not so many people are of it. One more thing, if I may add.
yeah,
For me, it was Fists of Fury that kind of dropped. It's suddenly I understood. I said, wait a minute. You can do really a movie that is a martial arts movie, like is the subgenre.
yeah.
And I saw it. I was already trained. I saw it, and it was like a revelation for me. That was around 1972.
Yeah, you nailed it, 1972. So on the topic of Bruce Lee, I mean, he is obviously one of the most iconic martial arts martial arts stars. Over the years we've had Jackie Chan, you've had Jet Li, you've had Tony Jaa. Who now, for your money, is like the guy to look at? Maybe the next up and coming martial arts master in film, or somebody who should be more popular but they're not.
Look, the new generation with people like Scott Adkins.
Yeah, Scott Adkins
are doing phenomenal stuff because they are the whole package. They can do fantastic acrobatics. They can act. They're fantastic martial artists. It's a total new generation.
Yeah.
So and they're pushing the envelope. Every time I'm doing a movie with Scott Adkins, and we try to push the envelope, especially in the Undisputed movies, because we know that there's the audience that they love the genre, and they're looking, and they basically want to see more stuff, or more kind of realistic stuff, say, with no wires.
Yeah.
That you can do, and you can bring to the screen, and you can do without cuts. So it's pushing the envelope.
Yeah, his movie a few years back, One Shot, is
Yes.
just insane.
Yes.
And-
Yes. Scott Mann, I think, directed it. Or no, sorry.
Yeah, I'm not sure who the director is on that one,
forgot.
but they have a sequel, one more shot. I haven't seen that one yet.
I think James Nunn.
James Nunn
directed it and did a brilliant job.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's just, I mean, the fight choreography and the action and all that stuff is already great, but just the production and the one take
There's
style.
a great fight between Scott Adkins. Fantastic. No, absolutely. There's a great fighter between Lee Charles and Scott Adkins, and it's really phenomenal. It's really fantastic.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
ton of fun gunplay and martial
Charles,
arts.
by the
stuff.
way, is also in Hounds of War.
Oh, is he? Oh, okay, cool, nice.
So I'm lucky. Yeah.
I recognized a number of the guys in there. I couldn't put their a name to the face, but I'm like, I recognize that guy. I've seen him a bunch of stuff. But yeah, again, a really fun movie, and on top of it just being a good action movie on itself, and it's got some really beautiful locations. The cinematography is great, the lighting's great, the quality of the film looks fantastic. So, I know you only have you're about our time with you, so I just want to say thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it, Isaac. Thank you very much, and
Pleasure.
yeah, absolutely. And thank you for making that movie and just continuing to make movies. I know you got a couple more upcoming ones. Let's see here. Eagle and Hellfire, the next upcoming movies from you, right?
Hellfire actually is the next one,
Hellfire.
and it's already in post-production.
Nice.
And it's a different movie. It's a contemporary Western
Cool.
with Stephen Lang and Harvey Keitel and
Oh, wow.
Johnny Young Bosch from the Power Rangers.
That's cool.
And and I love this movie. Yeah, it's slowly. We're in post.
Cool. Well, I'll keep an eye out for you. I'm going to put a pin in you and try to follow more of your projects in the future. So I really appreciate you, man. And you have a great day. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank you for talking.
All
Thank you for talking with me.
Bye-bye, sir. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. What a delight.
Yeah,
That was cool.
that was cool.
Guy knows his stuff.
Yeah, I had no idea I had so much history with martial arts. I mean, I guess it makes sense considering the body of his work.
Well, it's refreshing to see someone who actually has that,
They can talk the talk.
Yeah,
and they can walk the walk.
physically kick your ass and also run circles around you production-wise, since he's had, literal decades of production.
Yeah. Let's get rid of this.
Yeah.
If you're watching this, we're not going to stare at a pencil drawing of Rust Cole.
That's Tyler.
This entire time. He wishes. But yeah, that was cool.
So anyways, listeners, this movie's called Hounds of War, and it's out on video and on demand Friday, September 20th. So coming up here real soon.
Sweet. Now let's get into some actual...
Yeah, it's actual news stories.
Some actual news stories.
I don't want to spend a ton of time on this, but I do feel like it is necessary to talk about the passing of James Earl Jones. He is no longer with us. He passed this last week at the age of 93. Just one of the more iconic voices of all time. Like the dude, if you want a deep, reverential voice, you go to James Earl Jones. He was Mufasa. He was obviously Darth Vader. And for my childhood, he was the scary neighbor from Sandlot.
Oh, yeah, I guess that was him.
He owns the beast.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's also the king of Zamunda.
Oh, yeah, and Coming to America.
Yes, Eddie Murphy's father.
Yeah.
Great role.
So many great voices. He lent his voice to The Simpsons a number of times, many times, actually.
Yeah.
Just a great voice that I feel like was a huge part of my childhood, and it's really sad to see him
I think
go.
he was was he the villain in one of the Conan movies, I think?
Was that Conan?
I think it was.
Yeah, with the long straight hair.
Yeah.
I've never seen the Conan movies, but
They're funny.
I'm sure. Yeah. So rest in peace, James Earl Jones. And speaking of Star Wars, James has signed away his life rights and post-life rights of his voice to the franchise. Mm-hmm. We covered that story about a year ago on this show. And basically, in perpetuity, his estate is going to get money anytime they use his voice in a AI re-representation. Mm-hmm. So that seems to be, it's kind of depressing in a way, but at the same time, it's almost like a painter who lives on past his life. Mm-hmm. He's famous in life maybe, but afterlife could be even more famous.
So he basically just gave him the right to use his voice to keep creating content with his voice.
Correct. So that character of Darth Vader will never have to have a different voice than him.
Yeah, that's I feel like it kind of makes sense for, him specifically, because he had such an iconic voice, and his voice had a presence. But at the same time, it's like you can do whatever you want with it. There has to be some sort of approval process.
He's probably, I would imagine, just knowing him, because he's a famously realistic person. He doesn't seem like a phony. He just seems like a regular guy.
Yeah,
he's probably just like, I'm dead. What do I care? That's not a quote from him or not anything. That's just my assumption. But anyways, some people kind of weep at the idea of that, but I feel like that's the right way to go about it. They took action before his death, mm-hmm. and he agreed to the whole thing. Mm-hmm. The flip side to that is that Peter Cushing, who played Grand Moff Tarkin, in Rogue One, was digitally recreated for that movie. Yeah, and at the time I was thinking, well, they must have got the rights from his family.
They must have.
Like it's Disney and Fox, right?
Yeah.
Lucasfilm was sold to them, and basically they own everything, including Peter Cushing's estate, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, that's not really the case. Apparently, they did not ask for permission for that, and now they're being sued for it.
What, it's been almost 10 years since that movie was released?
Well, he died 20 years ago in 1994.
Yeah.
And Rogue One came out in
2016.
2016, that's what it was?
Yeah.
So 8 years? That's crazy. That's crazy.
They just saw the movie.
What?
The people who are suing, the family or...
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's like it's 8 years now, and they're forming a legal defense. But the thing is, from my understanding, is that it's not the family that's going after him. It's Cushing's best friend.
Oh, okay.
He's basically saying, why isn't anybody doing anything about this?
You guys,
Yeah.
money. You could get money out of this.
So Cushing's died at the age of 81, and he was originally in, obviously, A New Hope, and there was some sort of agreement with the executors of Cushing's estate, which saw permission to use his image and grant for a return fee. But the companies had a bid to have the claim thrown out, rejected by a judge last December, which they challenged in a hearing in London in July. But a ruling on Monday, Deputy High Court Judge Tom Mitchison, KC, I think this is British, dismissed the appeal, stating that the case should go to trial. So in his ruling, the judge said that he was far from persuaded that Tyburn Film Productions, which did some of that was that specific part of it they were tasked for the movie, would be successful in its claim, and the case was not unarguable, and a full factual inquiry was needed. So the trial is now set to take place at a later date, has yet to be determined yet. So I think the reason why I'm bringing this up is that we've talked a lot about anti-AI on this show. You know, we are not fans of generative AI stealing people's likenesses, essentially stealing people's intellectual property and then repurposing it as your own for free.
Yeah.
I think it's bullshit. And there's it doesn't take somebody with a very strong creative gene to be able to think that in the future some very dark things are going to be happening with this sort of technology.
Yeah. I'm actually in a Facebook group that is like an anti-AI Facebook group.
Hey, me too.
And I thought I was anti-AI.
Yeah.
You know, and some of those, I think someone posted about that specific story a couple days ago as well. And like, obviously the comments went off. And there's always, I don't want to say like, there's no AI apologists within those groups because they usually just get banned.
Yeah, they get banned very quickly.
Banned or kicked.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's like realistic takes in there as well. Like, there was a Rook.
Yeah, Rook. Alien Romulus.
Like they got the permission from the family and all this stuff, and it's like there you have that out there now, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like they allowed this, they were cool with it,
yeah.
And then you have the people on either sides of that saying like, it doesn't matter if they were cool with it, it's still wrong. It's still AI and wrong. It doesn't matter if they gave permission. And then you have other people. It's like it's not as bad as the other side of the fence is. It's not as bad as them just doing it
without asking,
or just creating something completely AI generated, even if it wasn't Rook itself. So it's like you have then another like a separate discussion, then inner turmoil between like I don't want to equate it to this. I'm not equating it to it.
Here it comes.
But we're reviewing Do the Right Thing.
Oh my God.
And it's like Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. It's like what way is the right way to go?
Yeah.
You know, what path do we go down to achieve the same goal?
Oh, I see. Because they both had very different ideologies towards racial equality.
Towards the same goal.
Okay. I got you now.
No, like this is just as bad.
Please don't.
In the 60s.
No.
When Martin Luther King was on those steps, I stood where he stood when I was in DC.
Oh God. Yeah, I mean, it bears a little bit more nuance, you know, more of a nuanced discussion.
Yeah.
But the reason I think that this is important is because the court is now saying we need to break this apart. This is not as simple as yes, this happened, and yes, technically you signed on the dotted line because let's just say 10 years ago, what did anybody know about AI back then?
Terminator and iRobot.
Yeah. It's like if you're like, okay, yeah, I'll sign the rights to my grandfather's estate off to you in perpetuity forever for $500. It seems almost like that's predatory. And yes, you signed at the dotted line. But if you are using legal jargon and coercing somebody into something that they don't understand and taking advantage of them, there has to be some sort of like legal protection to that.
Yeah, it's like a Nathan Fielder episode.
Yeah.
Nathan For You, where It's like, well, you're a lawyer. I thought you read the contract. Isn't that what you do?
Yeah, exactly.
I'll sign it for the camera, but
So comments in the chat, Angry Otter's in there, and he says that there were no protections for the use of AI, and the old contracts allowed the studios to use the actor's likeness in perpetuity. That was the whole reason behind the SAG strikes. Yeah, that was a big chunk of it. I think that also it was like AI scripts being used, replacing script writers by AI and then fleshing it out with real people. And then he also says, I think the infancy of it all was The Crow and completing the movie after Brandon Lee died on set. But I don't think they took his face and did it. I think probably just used creative editing more than anything.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm curious as to how much of that movie was made or done before the incident.
Yeah, I know that there was a fair amount of production they still had to do after the death, but Don Rickles, after he died, he still voiced Potato Head in the Toy Story movies after his death.
Yeah, and then the actor Proximo in Gladiator.
Yep.
He died during the making. That's why
Oliver, what's his name?
Oliver Stone.
Ledoux.
I don't know. That's why that scene in Gladiator, it looks so weird.
Yeah.
When he's like, open the gate, Proximo.
Yeah, Oliver Reed, that's it.
Oh, I was about to say Reed too. That's crazy.
Nice. There's I mean, you got to get creative in certain things, but I think like with Don Rickles, they used old recordings of him as the character in takes that they didn't use from old stuff, dug it up, and then repurposed it for the scenes.
Oh, so they just recut together old VO and made it work with their script.
Which is like, there's nothing wrong with that. You signed on to make the project, you used the footage. It's like putting a deleted scene onto a DVD,
Oh, yeah, Paul Walker in Fast 6 or whatever it is.
Fast 7, I think. Yeah, that's it. It's like putting his face over his brother's face. He's his brother as the actor.
Oh, yeah. That's crazy.
That was very early, and they knew their limitations, so they didn't like have him talk or anything. He just stood there and smiled, or sat there and smiled while he drove away.
It's insane that now it's kind of changing into a different subject. like when Heath Ledger died, like what was the movie we were gonna get?
Oh yeah, for The Dark Knight.
Yeah, for the third one. What was gonna be that story?
Yeah.
What was gonna be the rest of the Fast and Furious movies gonna be?
Yeah.
What was that movie gonna be like? Because obviously that movie ends with the see me again.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, a lot of interesting stuff there. So anyways, we're just going to keep an eye on that, and we'll just see what happens in the future.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's all I got.
All right. Tyler? Oh, no.
No, Tyler.
Not there. It's my turn. It's right to me. I got a couple news stories. Two kind of exciting news stories, I think. For fans of Constantine, the Keanu Reeves movie, not the comic, but maybe both. I don't know. Constantine 2 has a script. It has been written, and the supposed producer, Lorenzo di Bonaventura is his name, is working through his fears to read the Constantine 2 script. He says he's too scared to actually read the script.
Like, why? Because so much is writing on it?
I think they've
been hyping it up for years.
He says, it's in my inbox right now.
Oh my God, he really hasn't read it.
I'm just too scared to read it. I want it to be good so bad. I'll probably read it in the next few days when I get on an airplane.
But they're not saying it's the completed script, right?
It's a script.
Okay.
I don't know if it's like, this is the final draft of the script.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's kind of a weird way to do it. The producer is just like, okay, call me when you've already 100% fleshed it out.
Yeah.
I don't want to read the first draft.
The producer is going to have say, obviously.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Give me...
If you're reading a first draft or even like a third draft of it, it's like the pressure is not that high.
At least, you're not even in the production stage. You're the producer. You can no, we're not going to do this.
Yeah. Page 1, it just says, for context, Constantine, the story picks up the day after the first one ends. We will use AI generation to de-age Keanu Reeves and Rachel Weisz.
Oh gosh. What was his friend in the bowling alley?
He's dead.
Yeah, he's back somehow. That's the first, and he's the villain.
And the guy who drinks himself to death.
Oh yeah, the priest.
The priest with the crazy eyes.
He drinks himself to death, or is that he just can't drink anything?
He thinks he's not drinking.
That's right. It's a trick on him.
Yeah.
The devil's greatest trick.
Yeah, exactly.
Is to think that you could drink as much as you want.
How much you want to bet Peter Stormare's back as the devil?
I would hope,
I fucking hope so.
right?
What
He
a
was
delightful devil.
that was like one of the highlights of the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
As brief as his role was in it, you know? It was like Morgan Freeman being God.
Yeah, yeah. Perfect.
Yeah, Morgan Freeman should be God
Oh God, I don't know about that.
and reprise his role. Or they should get Reese Witherspoon to be the angel like in Little Nicky.
Oh, like Little Nicky, yeah.
And then if Peter Stormare's not available, Harvey Keitel.
If God, I wish Rip Torn was still with us. He could be God. That'd be perfect.
You do a good Rip Torn?
I'm sorry, not Rip Torn. I'm thinking Rip Taylor.
Oh, Rip Taylor.
Yeah, Rip Taylor would be even better.
The gay Rip Torn.
God, yeah. It's chaotic good Rip Torn.
Yeah. So the producer, he's scared. I'm scared because he's afraid that it's not going to be good. I mean, it's just in the script stage, so it's unknown if it will be one of the many projects to launch under James Gunn's DC universe.
Yeah.
Or if it will just be its own thing. Or if it will follow like a Joker path where it will just be like a separate, we're over here.
Yeah.
You guys are over there. We're doing our own thing.
So it is in that universe?
No, it's not clear. It's
okay.
unknown.
They haven't said so yet.
It's unknown.
I forgot that it's DC.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And as far as the first one goes, I enjoy it quite a bit.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
It's
a fun.
It's super fun.
It's like a fun, half spooky, creepy movie.
Yeah.
You know, with good, like, I mean, somewhat dated effects, but like I feel like it fits within the way the movie is made and the way that they do some of the effects. Shia LaBeouf is in it. I forgot.
Oh yeah.
Shia LaBeouf is back.
Oh, he's gonna come back as the angel because he's an angel at the end.
Yeah.
Maybe he's God.
Oh god.
No.
Oh Shia.
No, Mutt. We can't have Mutt as God.
But yeah, I'm kind of excited to see if they were to make it. I know Keanu Reeves has said that he would like to return to John Constantine.
Yeah.
That's like one of the characters that he would like to come back to.
Yeah, he's been very vocal about it, which is like, it's been, 20 years? 16 years? Something like that?
It's been almost 20 years.
Let's see.
2005. So almost 20 years.
Yeah, cool. Dope.
Come on, 20th anniversary. You could do it.
That's right.
You could do it.
And it's a good movie you can watch at Halloween or anytime.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fits in Halloween, but it's got a religious connotation, so it's not like specifically spooky.
It's the same religious connotation as like a
Exorcist.
Conjuring movie.
Yeah, The Conjuring, The Exorcist or something.
Except it's more of like a thriller action movie and less like horror, like straight horror movie. But yeah, so Constantine 2, will it happen? I don't know. It's got a script and the producer is scared to read it.
Cool, I'm excited.
And then my next news story, we're going back to the world of Dune because it's so good. And so is Denis for Dune Messiah.
Hell yeah.
I mean, it's already been like announced previously that he was going to make it.
Yeah.
But now it's like, we're definitely going to make it now. According to an article, Messiah starts production in August of 2025.
Ooh. Okay.
For a 2026 release.
That seems like a rush.
Yeah, maybe.
For that big of a production?
Perhaps.
August of next year, probably 3 months of shooting for a movie that size, right?
Yeah, to then 2026. It could be like the end of 2026.
Yeah, and then they have to put all the VFX and everything within that like 8-month window or so, 9-month window before the end of the year.
Yeah, what was...
Won't be surprised if it goes to 27, is what I'm saying.
Part 1, Part 2, what was that difference? 2021 and 2020 this year. So like almost a 3-year total.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and so he is going to make and wants to make Dune Messiah, but he does not want you to view it as a trilogy, just like he doesn't want you to view Dune Part 1 and Dune Part 2 as 2 movies and one as a sequel to the first one.
Yeah.
And as one movie, because it is the complete story of the first book of just Dune.
It's just like Lord of the Rings. You have to watch them all three.
Three.
You have to watch all 3 of them.
But I guess the opposite of that would be like Peter Jackson's Hobbit, where it's like one book but 3 movies, where you have 3 books and 1 movie with Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And that book is shorter than all 3 of those. I don't know. And then you're adding shit that does whatever.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't want to get you started. My
No,
bad.
it's okay. But yeah, and I would agree with that idea that I wouldn't consider it a trilogy. One, because it's only 2 books, and 2 things in a series is not a trilogy.
Yeah.
It's a duology.
Duology, yeah.
I was like, biology.
That's a different thing. There's already a word for that.
Yeah, I guess it is.
That word means something different.
And I've read Messiah, and it is going to be it's like going to be completely different than Dune, than the first one.
No, it's not a whole lot of war.
No, it's a lot more like conspiring and political betrayal, that type of stuff.
Not a lot of talk about trade war,
not a lot of
embargoes and stuff like that.
Not a lot of action.
Okay, cool.
More of it's definitely gonna be more of a drama than anything if he's gonna go by the book, and it's very weird. And there's certain characters that are gonna have to come back, and there are moments in the book where I was like, "What the fuck." It's gonna be wild.
Well, I'm glad I don't read. It'd be a surprise to me.
And I know that Florence Pugh and Anya Taylor-Joy will have prominent roles in the movie.
Zendaya will not be able to be there because Denny is making Cleopatra with her instead.
That'd be kind of crazy.
He is.
Is he actually?
Yeah,
with Zendaya.
With Zendaya as Cleopatra. Yeah.
Oh, why didn't you make that? Whatever. I guess you heard it here first.
It's in pre-production right now.
Oh, cool.
She
will also be in it.
Actually, don't know if Zendaya is confirmed for Cleopatra, but it's heavily rumored.
But yes, I mean, she will have to be in Messiah unless they change her, recast her somehow. Which I don't think they would.
No.
And the story takes place over 10 years after the first book.
But you said that he's basically leaving the door open for other people to make it, right?
At the end, after Messiah, he's going to be done with it. Doesn't want to come back to it. But he said he will leave it open to make the other ones because there's Children of Dune after that, which I think is the last of the Frank Herbert books. And then his son wrote other ones after that, which what I've heard just get fucking crazier and crazier. Someone turns into a worm at one point.
Cool.
Yeah. There's actually a BBC miniseries with James McAvoy where he plays the son of Paul, and he turns into a worm.
It's called Would You Love Me If I Was a Worm?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it's. But yeah, so Denis he took a break from filmmaking after part 2. He went into the Canadian woods. This is real. They're not making it up.
Just got naked.
Canadian woods and took a break. Wanted to see some water and some rain maybe. And get out of the desert, the Jordan desert.
And he's like, I'll make another movie about sand with Cleopatra in it.
Yeah, I'm going to go to Egypt now.
Known for its lush lakes.
And so, and at the same time, though, he has been writing, and it would be Messiah that he'd been working on. He's also working on like Cleopatra and also Rendezvous with Rama, which is another book, sci-fi story.
I've heard that name. I don't know anything about it though.
Me either. I just heard it's another sci-fi epic book.
Cool.
Which, like, who better to make the?
I like the idea of thinking about Denny up there in the Ticonderoga.
Yeah.
Timber.
Chopping trees or something.
Yeah.
Building fires, wearing plaid, and being a lumberjack.
What do they call that? Bush in the lighthouse, right? Talking about hauling Ticonderoga.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
It's been too long. It's about time for a rewatch.
I have not watched that in a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
cool.
We have a lot of more Dune stuff to look forward to.
More Dune.
Very excited about.
Cool.
Can't wait.
Arthur C. Clarke book, Rendezvous with Rama.
Yeah. So I think Messiah is going to be the next movie he releases. Uh-huh. So we won't see Cleopatra or Rendezvous with Rama until 2028.
2030.
In 9 and 30.
Yeah.
We're all still alive by then.
Yeah. If the sun hasn't crashed into Earth.
Yeah. We haven't experienced our own civil war here in
the
U.S.
We do have an election coming up.
Oh, God.
Oh, boy.
It gets stressful and stressful.
Yeah.
All right. No Tyler news, so let's move on to some stream picks.
movies.
Wanna watch a movie?
Yes, indeed.
Disney Plus. Oh, HBO Max.
If I don't get the pick, show's over.
I have grown accustomed to Hulu Plus.
Amazon Prime.
I like Netflix.
Stream picks. Movies that we watched on our streaming services so that you can watch or not watch them based on our recommendation or not.
Yeah.
Or whatever you want. Do it.
Do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah, I don't care. I mean, I do care. I got to channel the Tyler energy.
Do whatever the hell you want.
You know, I don't care about our listeners.
Yeah.
I don't care what you do. You could stop listening right now. Wouldn't affect me anyway. That's Tyler talking.
Yeah.
Got to fill the void.
Yeah.
All right, Pete.
Yeah.
What do you have to stream pick?
Oh, I got a mess of movies that I watched this week.
You made a mess of yourself.
Yeah, some good, some bad. You can leave it on the 2. It's fine. I don't care.
Okay. How about this? Or this?
Yeah, just do the 2. We don't need to see the Rust Cole. It's not enough of that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to just kind of blow through some of these. So Caddyshack, 1980, not streaming anywhere. Actually, you'd have to rent it. But I mean, I think most people have seen the movie. And I felt it was appropriate to actually talk about it because this is my first time watching it all the way through. I've seen clips to death, all the famous clips. I know all the famous quotes. I know all the characters. I know who they are, or at least I thought I knew who they were. Mm-hmm. And I watched it on VHS from my VHS collection. Mm-hmm. And it's fine. Caddyshack is fine.
Oh, Caddyshack.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's 70s humor.
1980.
Oh, well,
it's
basically
it feels
70s.
like 70s.
Made in the 70s.
Yeah, and it's like, I think Chevy Chase is doing his very particular shtick that he did like on SNL all the time, and sometimes it works and sometimes it really doesn't. Rodney Dangerfield is a goddamn national treasure, though, I gotta say. I mean, he only does one thing, but he really does it perfectly, and there's nobody like Rodney Dangerfield, so I loved that aspect of it.
Hey, my wife.
Yeah.
Take her, please. Right?
Exactly.
Something like that.
That's a Dangerfield. Yeah, it's like every opportunity he has to like bag on somebody, he does it to great effect. And he's just a goofball. He's got like a golf bag that has like a refrigerator in it and like a satellite phone and all kinds of stuff. And he's somehow a billionaire. He's basically like John Lovitz in the Benchwarmers. But there's a lot to this movie that's just all over the place and kind of a mess. So I'm really glad it exists. I'm really glad that it spawned a lot of like modern comedies, after it, but it's fine. 1980s Caddyshack.
What's worse than that though?
What's up?
Caddyshack 2.
Oh, will not watch. Thanks for the warning. So the next one I watched is called I'm Just Fucking With You.
Ah, yeah.
From 2019. You seen it?
Yeah, I recommended it.
Oh, okay, cool. I saw the name and I'm like, pretty sure I heard this somewhere. I can't remember where. How long ago was this streaming pick?
I'd have to go, but it was a while ago.
A while ago, okay. Pretty good, pretty fun. Like clearly, it's like a low budget sort of a thing, but it really makes the best of what it has. It's basically like an internet troll who is constantly fucking with people online, and he just loves to do it. And he's a germaphobe, and he kind of hates his life, and he's going out of town to go to his ex-girlfriend's wedding with the new guy. Because the new guy is his cousin, so he's invited to the wedding. And when he checks into this shitty motel somewhere in LA, he runs into the guy that works at the front desk, who is super fun.
April is when I watched.
April? Okay, cool.
It. Yeah.
Super charismatic front desk guy who is constantly fucking with him the entire time. And the pranks get worse and worse and worse to the point where people are dying. And it just ramps up. It's like one of these movies that you can just tell it's just going to ramp and ramp and ramp until, I don't know, they end up in space or whatever. You know, that's always the joke with improv. But this is a like Into the Dark series or something like that on Hulu. So if you were like to search for it on IMDb, it won't show up. You have to look into the actual series name, and it's like season 3, episode 2. Mm-hmm. But it is a full length feature movie. So yeah, look that up on Hulu. It's called I'm Just Fucking With You. Pretty fun. A little bit frustrating.
Really indie comedy. Horror
thriller? Indie comedy horror thriller.
Yeah.
I'd say that's perfect in that amalgamation. And the guy who's the hypochondriac, the main character, he reminds me of Tyler a lot, the actor, because he was in a movie I watched called No Exit, where he played a very like...
Oh, was that him?
That was him, same guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I was like, I wonder that guy from somewhere.
Didn't have the same hair, though. Right?
No, he had it like more coiffed. So anyways, that's I'm Just Fucking With You 2019. I visited Kinds of Kindness, followed up for Joseph's streaming pick, and very middle on this one, very middling for me. 3 stars. It left me cold in a number of ways, but pretty much throughout the whole thing, I was like, someone want just a little more of whatever it is.
Context.
Yeah, some context or something to happen.
I'm like, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, and it's better that it's 3 short stories, because it is a long ass movie. But I almost just wish that they would have just done one movie and fleshed it out fully. Because there's just, and I feel almost like this is like Yorgos had a bunch of these movies kind of in his back pocket, these ideas for movies in his back pocket, and said, well, I don't really want to spend all this time to make them all into features. So let's just make an anthology movie.
Yeah, it could be it.
Could be something like that.
He had like remnants of idea, or it's like small ideas that he hadn't quite expanded on. And I was like, I'll just
like
I'll just put it all in one.
The first one, I definitely felt like there was a lot of, kind of like unpacking the idea of like your work owns you.
Yeah.
And that was like very clear. The second one where she disappears and then a clone or something comes back. Like
supposedly.
I'm like, what was I supposed to take from that? I didn't quite get.
Yeah, it was like watching like a Black Mirror episode.
Yeah.
Where it's like, but it's like not sci-fi at all, really.
But where the hell did she come from then?
Yeah. And then the end with the, I mean, there were some great like kind of shock things that were like really well done. All of it's really well executed.
Yeah. There was a shocking sex scene in the second short film that I'm like,
oh, okay.
And wow, they just
filmed a porn.
They're pretty much just filming a straight up porn with like A-list actors.
And the fact that they're all just watching it together.
Oh my gosh.
Like they're reviewing like play by play.
Yeah. Remember this?
Yeah. I know, it's so
just
weird.
Like old times.
Jesse Plemons, Margaret Qualley, Emma Stone, and Mamadou.
Yeah.
Mamadou.
Just call him Mamadou.
Mamadou.
But and then the third one was I like that. I think I like the third one probably.
That's the one with the Mustang or the
Challenger.
Challenger.
Yeah, the purple Challenger. She just burning rubber everywhere she goes.
Yeah.
None of it really made sense in a way, especially the second and third ones were just like, I mean, there's probably something there and probably too thick to absorb it all, but I just kind of felt like this one left me very cold. So Kinds of Kindness, if you want to dig into that, it's streaming on Hulu as well.
It's just odd.
Just odd, yeah. Definitely like pretty low tier on my movie list for this year. I watched a classic, The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3.
The one with John Travolta?
No, the original one.
Oh.
One with
so not the classic.
Walter Matthau. This is streaming on Tubi, Pluto, MGM Plus, Hoopla, Fubo, and that's it. This is pretty solid. It's more fun than I thought it was going to be, because this is a drama about a group of men that take command of a subway car, like subway train in New York.
They took it.
Yeah. Well, they don't know where they can go, but they basically say, "Hey, we're
taking Pelham 1, 2, 3."
Yeah. Well, it's leaving the Pelham station at 123, and that's like it's the Pelham 123 train or whatever. Heather loves this one; she's signing off in the chat. The thing that I didn't expect about this was that it was a lot more like fun and there's some levity there. Like for example, there's you get to know that there's an undercover police officer on the train, much like a marshal on a plane.
Is there always a marshal on a plane?
I think now there is.
Every single flight? Is that many marshals?
Maybe. I don't know.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But you get to hear that because the hijackers are communicating via like this walkie-talkie, like the employee chat essentially thing with like the headquarters. And at some point you find out, off mic, they don't know, but we know that there's essentially a police officer on the train. He's got a gun. But the whole time you don't know who it is.
Got a gun.
Yeah, and you're thinking, oh, at what time is the police officer going to strike into action and save the day? And what happens may surprise you. But there's also there's a woman on the train that's just drunk and passed out. It misses the whole hijacking. She wakes up at the very fucking end.
Oh.
And is like, hey, did I miss my stop? It's like there's some levity there. There's some funny stuff. And the way the movie actually ends is like the end of an episode of Columbo or something. It's so funny.
Oh.
But this is from 1974. listen to the cast on this. Walter Matthau plays like the transit authority police officer. Robert Shaw, who's from Jaws, who plays Quint. You know, got those cold dead eyes like a doll's eye. He's the main hijacker.
Okay.
Martin Balsam, Hector Elizondo is one of the hijackers. He's a loose cannon hijacker. He's been in a billion things. And then Earl Hindman, who plays Mr. Wilson. No, not Mr. Wilson, just Wilson from Home Improvement, the next door neighbor who's always behind the fence.
Him? Yeah.
He's one of the hijackers in this. So really, really great. There's a lot of other stuff. Jerry Stiller's in this.
Jerry Stiller.
He plays also. He's a transit authority. He's kind of like a lackluster dude that doesn't really care. Doris Roberts is in this. So yeah, this is pretty fun. I didn't really expect a whole lot, and I thought it was a really good time. So taking the Pelham 1, 2, 3. I kind of want to rewatch watch the remake because just to see if it did better or worse or whatever. I put this like 3.5, maybe 4 stars, depending on the day. If your mood, it might be 4, maybe even higher. So next up, I revisited Tyler's streaming pick from last week on Amazon Prime, The American Society of Magical Negroes.
Oh, okay.
I am not the right person to comment on whether
Tyler.
On whether this movie is a net positive or a net negative in regards to racial equality, in regards to representation, advancement, or sensitivity of different races. So I don't try not to factor that into my actual rating. I could be completely off base with how I interpreted it. It could be a positive thing. It could be a negative thing. I just don't know. And it's not for me to say. All I can say is that it did seem like a little bit bad in that regard. Almost like he was trying to do this really strong social satire. And like, look at this. This is how, society sees us. And this is what you have to do just to survive. But it was still like kind of forcing all the black people in the movie to do the thing.
Yeah.
And then there was a subversion near the end that I just don't know if it was as impactful of enough of a turn to warrant everything that came before it, if that makes sense. So taking all that out of it, it's still pretty fun, has a unique concept. It plays out more or less in a predictable way. But what I really hope to take away from this is that Anne Lee Bogan, she's the romantic interest in this. She is delightful. I really hope that she comes to like more mainstream stuff because she's so fucking charming in this. Justice Smith is kind of, it's a will they, won't they sort of a relationship, but he can't because he's banned from doing that because of his job. And she's super, super delightful in this. So Anne Lee Bogan, and it's A-N-L-I, Anne Lee. So I've never seen her before, but I was like, wow, she's so charismatic and charming. I really hope that she does more stuff. So my biggest gripe about the whole thing was that like the blowout climax at the end, which it's all kind of leading to, what's going to happen. It seemed, I don't know, very conveniently placed. Like it's like this had to happen, so we're going to make it happen, but it wouldn't really happen that way. And then also David Alan Grier is somebody I can never get enough of. I wish there was more David Alan Grier in it. So I give it like a 3 stars, and this is streaming on Amazon Prime. The American Society of Magical Negroes, 2024, this year. Since we watched, me and Brianna watched that movie with a really long title, we decided to watch another movie with a really long title, The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, directed by Guy Ritchie.
Talked about this too.
Yeah. This was super fun. Super, super fun. Maybe I was just in the right mood for this, but you cannot ignore the fact that it's Inglourious Bastards filtered through, Snatch. It's just the energy of Inglourious Bastards mixed with like the setting and the place of Inglourious Bastards mixed with the energy of like classic Guy Ritchie stuff. Really, really fun. It's a little bit of a lull at the end of the second act before it kind of gets into the climax, but I mean, I'm nitpicking. When the action's popping off, there is really some really fun and entertaining action. It's like watching a video game. All these guys that are doing this, I don't know, like they're trying to destroy a ship, right?
Yeah.
Take down the ship, which is basically a supplier for the U-boats for the Nazi regime. And so they have to go sail across the ocean, make it into this harbor of some like neutral nation and secretly sink this ship. And it's like the biggest beefcakes you'll ever see. It's Henry Cavill and what's the other guy's name?
No.
Oh, Alan Rickson.
Yeah.
Richson. He plays in
Just Jack Reacher or something, right?
Yeah, he's in Reacher. He's in the new Reacher series. And his physique is unbelievable. Like, he is a mammoth. He is a freaking specimen.
Mm-hmm.
Those linen shirts are stretched across him like the head of a drum.
Yeah.
So
they're fighting for their life.
Yeah,
keeping that shirt together.
Those buttons are they're sewed on with metal wire because they're pulled so tight. But the crew he's a part of is chock full of like likable badass characters, and you just want to see them all get unleashed.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a demolitions guy. At one point, Alan Rickson pulls out a bow and arrow and starts killing people with a bow and arrow, and you're like, "Fuck is this?"
That's like his thing, right?
That's his thing. Yeah, they're like,
and then Jack Reacher guy is a knife guy.
No, that's well, he's also got the bow and arrow.
Oh, does he? Okay.
Yeah, he's a kind of a jack of all trades in that regard.
Analog killer.
Yeah. So it's not easy to upstage Henry Cavill. He's also super charismatic and just begs to be in the spotlight. But I think Alan Rickson does a good job there, especially in the beefcake department, because he outshines him there. Eliza Gonzalez is magnetic, and the overall vibe is just a blast. So I would recommend people to watch this if you want to have a good time. I had to pay to rent this one, but it is streaming just about everywhere you can pay for rentals. We'll skip that one because I didn't actually watch the whole thing. I watched this weird. Well, I'll skip that one.
Okay.
It's a what Darren Lumberg of Nostalgia Cast calls a Mormon horror movie. It's called Lady in White from 1988.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm watching it for the Binge Movies Challenge. I'm going to be on that show in a couple weeks. And it's streaming on Tubi. Go check it out if you want a PG horror movie that's actually surprisingly dark and surprisingly gritty. 1988 Lady in White, streaming on Tubi. I won't say anything, just go in blind and watch it. It's actually pretty fun. But the last one I want to highlight is a new movie on Amazon Prime starring Awkwafina and John Cena called Jackpot. Yeah, Price is Right style. Have you heard anything about this?
I've seen the cover many times.
Do you know what the plot is? Okay, so it's kind of like The Purge.
Okay.
In a sense that like 10 years into the future, the United States goes into a Great Depression, and the California state government decides to do the Grand Lottery. They have the California Lottery, and then they have the Grand Lottery.
Okay.
The Grand Lottery is, in this case, $3.6 billion.
Oh.
It's huge. Like, it's rolled over. Like, it's tens of millions of dollars, but if somebody doesn't win each week, it rolls over just like the regular lottery does, and it becomes the Grand Lottery. The Grand Lottery becomes like this huge jackpot. So in this movie, the jackpot that they're fighting for is 3.6 million or something like that. Billion. Well, the stipulation for it is that if you play and you win, you have, I want to say 24 hours or maybe even just from the morning until sundown. And any other citizen who's playing the game, who put their ticket in to play the game and did not win, now has the opportunity to kill you and take your jackpot.
Oh.
So it's
time to play the game.
So they basically, you have like these futuristic tickets that have like a screen on it. You do your thumbprint, and then it takes a picture of your face. And then when the winner is drawn, it says, oh, Sarah Kim is the winner. And it shows your picture to everybody who played. And then 15 minutes after you win, the state government who runs this whole thing has a drone that follows you around and gives everybody your location every 15 minutes.
Oh.
So they can come find you and try to kill you.
Sounds like Self-Reliance.
Very similar to Self-Reliance. Yeah, exactly.
Except anybody can participate.
Yeah, pretty much. Angry Otter says it's almost like the Sliders episode with the lottery. I'm not sure.
Is this Simpsons reference?
Yeah, I'm not sure what that is. Tell me what that is, Angry. And yeah, he's absolutely right. If you could like this video, we were really bad about asking for engagement.
Like, subscribe is very important.
Share,
actually, please
comment.
Very
all that stuff.
Engage with us.
Yeah,
we're running out of time.
But anyways, yeah, we're running out of time. But So she wins, and the thing about it is that she doesn't even know she's playing. She's borrowing somebody's clothes, and she pulls out the ticket out of the pocket. And it's like, what is this?
Okay.
And it takes her thumbprint and takes a picture of her like this. Ugh. And then,
interesting.
And now she wins, and she goes, what does this say? I won? What did I win? And then everybody who's around her goes, oh shit, it's her. Because they see the picture on their ticket, and they're in the same room as her. They don't know the location. They're just seeing her on the thing. She's wearing the same gold outfit she was wearing before. And now it's on. They're all trying to kill her. The only stipulation is no guns. So knives, bludgeoning,
oh my God,
baseball bats, special weapons that are like piercing guns that have like a cattle prod, gun.
Yeah.
And it's directed by Paul Feige. Feige. I don't know.
Oh yeah, from he did Bridesmaids.
Yeah, Bridesmaids and like Spy and all those like
Paul Feig, I think.
I think it's Feig, but I've heard other people like pronounce it with like it's a 2-syllable word. Anyways, he directed it. You're kind of gonna get some fun. It's gonna be not so serious. It's gonna be really goofy.
It has John Cena.
It's got John Cena
and Awkwafina.
So naturally, what you would imagine happens in this world is that there's a cottage industry pops up that are lottery protection agents.
Oh, okay.
And John Cena says, if you give me 10% of your jackpot, I'll protect you and make sure you stay alive.
Mm-hmm.
And he just shows up and is like
10% of 3.6 billion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking you could probably I would probably ask for more than that, to be honest. And then Simu Liu is in it. And
Come on, John Cena.
And Simu Liu's, he runs the corporate lottery protection agency that they have like all the best technology and they can like send drone strikes in. And
he's more of like a lower tier protection agency.
Yeah, John Cena's just working on his own.
Oh, okay.
And
I'm just a guy.
He's got morals. He goes, he wants to, like when he's beating people up and stuff, he'll take the time to, if they're like laying on their face or laying on their back, he'll take the time to flip them over before he leaves the room because he's like, I don't want him to choke on their tongue or puke later.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to kill these people. I just don't want him to kill you. So he's got morals, and like before he throws somebody out of a car, he puts a helmet on them and then throws them out the car. So there's a funny dynamic there. And I will say this, I sometimes find Awkwafina very draining. Her energy and that just kind of same character she always plays is very annoying to me sometimes. It's the lowest version of that in this movie. There's a couple of lines that don't land and a couple like jokes that are like, oh, isn't that so clever? But other than that, for the most part, she's pretty delightful. So this is called Jackpot. Just came out this year. It's a fun time together at night. You could do a Friday night movie or even like a midweek movie. Something fun to watch with significant other or friends. I don't know if this is so much kid friendly, but it's not kid friendly. So
a lot of fucking.
No fucking.
A lot of saying fucking.
There's no.
Is it PG-13?
I don't know. Let's see.
Is there much cursing in it? Is there like a lot of violence in it?
I mean, it's like
the nature of the story sounds violent. So
it is, but it's played for fun.
Okay,
it's like a lot of people getting kicked in the balls and stuff like that.
Ow, my balls!
Let's see if it even has a rating because it's an Amazon production. It never went into
a prime release.
Yeah, it never went into theaters, so I don't even know if it has a rating on it. That's rated R.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I guess some people do get killed in fantastic fashion. Oh, yeah, and I forgot Machine Gun Kelly's in it for a minute.
Oh, great.
And he's playing a douchebag version of himself.
Oh.
So himself.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's they take the piss out of him as well because...
Is he playing himself? Oh, no, you say the version of himself.
No, he's playing Machine Gun Kelly.
Oh, okay.
But it's like a heightened douchebag. Like when he shows up, he's wearing like a lavender purple shag jacket with a lavender turtleneck on it.
Okay.
And like white pants with sunflowers on them. And it's like, what is like at one?
Who's this guy?
There's a funny line where she finds out that he has a panic room. And she goes, "What does Machine Gun Kelly have to panic about? Running out of space for tattoos on his body?" And that line gets repeated a couple times in the movie, and he shows up, and you're like, I guess he doesn't have much space left on his body. But he's got a panic room, and the whole panic room sequence is pretty funny. So, yeah, this is low fare, not intellectual, Oscar-winning stuff. But man, it is.
You don't got to think too hard.
No, it's a real fun time. I recommend this. Jackpot.
Okay,
that's it.
Cool. I have a few.
Okay.
I've been catching up with some stream picks. Sad that Tyler's not here. Because for the first part of our show, like the beginning of our show, There was a time in which I was writing, or not writing, but like typing in my notes, both of your guys' stream picks.
Oh, okay.
And essentially creating a watch list for myself.
Oh, nice. Okay.
For the movies that I hadn't watched that you stream picked. And I stopped at some point. The last movie that I put in there is I'm Thinking of Ending Things.
Oh, okay.
And
a while ago.
So I've been going through them and sort of boldening each one that I have watched. So the ones that I have watched that I think I have talked about here, Young Adult from Tyler, The Kolovich Killer,
yep,
and we reviewed Llewyn Davis, Villains, TFW No GF.
Oh, that's why you're going back. Okay.
Yeah, I did watch Palm Springs.
Yeah,
I don't know if I ever talked about it.
That's a super fun movie.
And then there's still I did watch Blind Spotting. I did talk about that a while ago.
Blind Spotting rules.
And I did watch Good Boys. I gotta go through this again. But yeah, so there's still a lot left.
Are those your streaming picks?
No.
Okay.
Those are movies that I have already caught up on.
Okay.
But I did more this week. So my first one, I caught up with The Dirties.
Oh.
Streaming on Prime. Prime and Tubi.
Cool.
This is directed by Matt Johnson, director of Project Avalanche and the Blackberry movie, and starring in the Blackberry movie as well. And he is also starring in The Dirties. I can't remember. I assume he's in Project Avalanche as well.
Yeah, he is.
And The Dirties is a much darker kind of storyline. It's still very much like a comedy.
Yeah.
With a very kind of twisted subplot and then twisted sort of ending. And is essentially about these two high school kids who are really into movies and making movies. That they have this one person that you never see following them around with a camera, and he's only referred to by name a couple times, but you never see him.
No. And
it's almost like to a certain point where it's like, is there somebody there, or is it just like we're just watching it?
It blurs the line a couple times.
Because they're recording everything, like literally everything. They're recording them getting bullied, and the bullies don't acknowledge the cameraman at all.
Yeah.
So these kids are they are bullied by this gang in high school call themselves the Dirties, and they want to make a movie about them essentially taking vengeance on the Dirties.
Yeah.
And they themselves are playing the Dirties. And they are in like a film class, and they show part of the movie that they've made so far to everybody. And they go to their professor, their teacher, and they show them what they've made so far. And it's like very violent and
super violent,
not school appropriate. And the teacher is like, you gotta change some things about this. And you're like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? This is a movie. We're making a movie, right?
Yeah.
And then Matt Johnson gets the idea of wanting to, like, what if we did it for real? What if we came to the school with a gun and we killed them for real, for like the movie?
Yeah.
And then his friend is like not totally getting it, like that he's actually serious about doing that. And he's like, yeah, but we would like make it like it would be like a movie, right? It wouldn't be like real. And like, no, like we come to school with a gun and we do it for real.
Yeah.
And you're kind of watching the movie, kind of waiting for that moment, for that what he's talking about to come to fruition.
Yeah.
And then they eventually, there's some conflicts between the two of them because the friend sees that he's kind of losing his mind a little bit, and he is also kind of getting the attention of
getting popular, more or less,
of a girl, and kind of being included into a different group of people.
Yeah.
A group of kids that they didn't normally associate with. And so it's like, well, now I'm with you and you're just acting weird, and you're just getting weirder and crazier and like a little bit more unhinged of a person. And I mean, you can kind of see where it's, I mean, you kind of know where it's going to go, and they try to stage a school shooting, but then eventually it just becomes a school shooting.
Yeah. It's a bold movie. The need to actual like broad strokes of the plot.
Yeah, it is. And it's a kind of a, I don't want to say it's meta, but it is a little bit meta in a sense. But it was a very unique, very dark kind of comedy found footage movie. Much like, I mean, Project Avalanche is also like a found footage movie as well. The only non-found footage movie he's made is the Blackberry movie. But it's crazy to see his progression in movies to go from something like this, so low budget, even though it doesn't seem that way because there's a ton of extras, tons of kids, and they have a school hallway available to them. I assume they shot during the summertime.
I was gonna say, well, I wouldn't be surprised if he just used those scenes in an actual school.
Maybe, yeah. But yeah, Dirty is streaming on Amazon Prime, Tubi. Definitely, if you're into like sort of not like a found footage horror movie, but found footage movie about kids who get bullied in high school, and then they sort of kind of take their own sort of vengeance on them.
And they're also movie buffs as well.
Yeah, they're big.
His scene where he's showing the Malkovich on the piano, laying on the piano doing the Malkovich is so hard to watch.
Yeah,
like don't show that video to your class, dude.
It's rough.
Yeah, you're just asking to get put in a locker.
Yeah. So that's the Dirties. Recommend Amazon Prime, Tubi. Next stream pick comes from I believe listener Adam.
Oh, cool.
From eons ago.
From a long time ago?
From a long time ago.
That Adam.
Plops himself. This is Body Bags.
Oh.
Streaming on Amazon Prime.
Tyler also streamed it too.
Yeah, like the week after.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Tubi and Peacock and Shudder and Pluto.
Wait a second. He listened to Adam back then, but he won't listen to us.
He did a lot of stuff.
Curious.
Back then.
Curious.
And he'll listen to other people. And he'll watch the beautiful society of magical Negroes.
Yeah. The society, it's so beautiful. People are saying it's beautiful. It's God.
Yeah. They won't listen to us. We're streaming a movie every week, at least 15.
Maybe it's maybe it's too much for him.
I don't know. Just pick one. Just throw a rock. And
I tried to like specifically say, this is for you, Tyler. This one's for you. You should watch this one. Forget all the other ones I talked about. This is for you. Anyways.
So Body Bag streaming everywhere, apparently. Amazon, Tubi, Peacock, Shudder, Pluto. Is an anthology horror movie collection of 3 stories with a stacked cast. John Carpenter, Tom Arnold, Toby Hooper, Robert Carradine, Wes Craven, Sam Raimi, and Mark Hamill, and Stacy Keach, I believe, Greg Nicotero, bunch of people, just a bunch of people.
I like the Stacy Keach segment.
Yeah, and so this is 3 stories, and John Carpenter plays like basically like the crypt keeper, and he's or Elvira type of person where he's in a morgue, he looks dead, and he's going through telling you the stories. He's guiding you through these 3 different stories. And the first one is like a late night shift, like at a gas station, and the one of the workers, it's like a reveal a little bit. There's a serial killer who's
it was a good segment. I like that one.
He's like undead or something, and then he gets squished by a car. I don't know. That was my least favorite one. I didn't like that one that much.
I like the reveal of it.
My favorite ones was the Stacy Keach, he's a dude who's losing his hair. He's an older man, and he's very emasculated from going bald, from male pattern baldness. And he does the Trump comb over thing. It looks very wispy. And he sees an ad on television for this new treatment that can solve your hair loss. And he goes in, and it's he gets it. He wakes. They do the treatment. They wrap like the bandages around his head. And the doctor's like, so when you go to sleep tonight, you wake up, you'll have a full head of hair or whatever. And then he goes to sleep, wakes up, and the gauze is like bigger, like this is bulging out of his head. Takes it off, and he's got like Fabio locks. And it's like, that's what you were looking for?
Well, you cut it after that.
I guess so.
It's like Homer with an minoxidil.
Yeah, you were looking for like these locks that are just down to your waist.
Yeah.
Insane. And it's crazy that was the result.
Yeah.
But then it turns into kind of like a Halloween 3 situation where it's like it's not just hair that's in your head.
No, that ain't hair, baby.
No, and then
That's no moon.
it's he proceeds to start not feeling well, starts growing hair out of weird places like a wolf man. And it gets kind of crazy, and I enjoyed that one. There were some kind of funny effects that they did in that for like there's an alien element to that, and there's some like little effects with the hair that they did that was kind of cool. So I like that one. I think I like that one the most.
There's a really good pairing of that one. It's this Estonian short horror film, 14 minutes, called Bad Hair. I'll put that into the link into the show notes because it's real similar to that, but it's like made in 2019 or something.
Oh, okay. And then the last one, starring Mark Hamill as a baseball player. I don't know if he's MLB baseball player, but he is like a pitcher or something. And he is driving home from a game one night. He gets in a car accident because he swerves and almost hits a deer or something. Crashes into a tree. And then these two guys come over to see if he's all right. And then the shot of him, he just has this big shard of glass in his eyeball.
Yeah.
And he doesn't die. It cuts to him in the hospital with
somehow
bandage over his eye. And he also does a kind of a experimental procedure in which they do an eyeball transplant. And there's a reveal later of where the eye came from. But basically, after he gets the eyeball, he starts experiencing headaches and seeing things that aren't necessarily there. And he himself starts kind of like Frankenhooker, where like the body parts of another person become like take over your brain. Where it's like, how does that make sense?
The memories are stored in the eyeball.
Yeah. And he starts taking on the personality of the person where the eyeball came from.
Yeah.
And he starts going crazy and violent. And then he goes to the doctor. He's like, where did this eyeball come from? And he's like a sweaty, greasy mess by that point. And that was fun. It was like a kind of, I don't want to say it's poltergeisty, but a little bit, or like a child's play with the possession type of thing. Amityville Horror, Amityville House. Amityville Horror?
Amityville Horror, yeah.
Yeah, kind of like that a little bit.
2008, Jessica Alba had a horror movie called The Eye, which was basically that. It was a serial killer donated their eyes to her, and same thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Was that Hayden Christensen in that as well? Christopher was in there.
Parker Posey.
Pocket full of Posey.
Oba Babatunde.
Ah.
No, I think you might be confusing him with Oba Babatunde.
I do.
And Rade Zabergia.
Former
guest on this show.
Yeah.
Called in, bad connection, but.
Oh, yeah. Nice coat.
Yeah, it's a nice coat.
And so, yeah, that's streaming in a lot of places. Like I said, Amazon, Peacock, Shudder, Pluto, Tubi. Good Halloween watch, I think.
Isn't John Carpenter like the guy announcing?
Yeah, he's I said
the coroner, right?
Yeah, he's the quote unquote coroner.
Yeah.
He's the Elvira or Crypt Keeper of this anthology. And then finally,
the reason why it felt like a poltergeist is Toby Hooper directed The Eye. That segment.
That's funny.
Yeah.
And then finally, catching up with the stream pick from Pete last week, new on Netflix as of last week, is Rebel Ridge, streaming on Netflix.
Yeah.
And I think much like how I felt about The Killer from last year, is like I feel like this is this year's that movie.
Really?
If it's like that, it's just a cool movie.
Yeah, cool vibes.
It's just cool. it was because I love a story like you underestimate somebody, you know, and kind of like an underdog story or a revenge type story, very much like a First Blood, kind of plot. But I don't know how you could underestimate fucking that guy, Aaron Pierre.
I know, dude.
You're like, you see how big he is?
He's a big fucker.
You see, he was in the military. It doesn't even matter if he was in a special part of the military.
Yeah. Uh-oh. I think he's on the Wikipedia page.
Yeah.
That's such a great reveal.
That whole scene was so satisfying to watch because the combat it didn't feel over the top. It felt like real.
Yeah, it didn't seem like they did they pulled frames, didn't do like they did creative editing. It really felt like he was just kicking those guys' ass.
Yeah, it did. And then there's a final sort of sequence in that same location, which is also equally badass as well. And the opening scene of this movie, it's like it already sets you up for like, I already fucked these guys.
You're 3 minutes into the movie and your blood is boiling.
And like, you fucking out. You kick their ass right now.
I know when it's the like scene started, you're like, it just starts. There's no setup. You don't know who the guy is. You don't know where he's going. It's all revealed throughout the course of the scene.
Yeah.
Jeremy Saulnier does not waste any time in this.
No, and he doesn't go too deep into like the plot of like with his cousin or anything like that. Nope. You just hear it offhand, and you only see him once in person.
Yeah.
Like they only see each other once in person in the movie.
Yeah.
And then you hear what happens. And at first it's like, is he lying or is he just trying to manipulate him?
Yeah.
Like, or is that true? And I'm like, well, if that's true, then he was fucking behind it. Right. And the only thing I think was like the stakes of the town itself, like the reasoning or the motives behind
why the cops are corrupt.
Yeah. It's like, this town is broke. And it's like, is that it?
Yeah.
And like,
it's all it needs. That's all they need.
Yeah. Why don't you just move?
Yeah. Well, the cops don't want to give their power.
Yeah, true. Also, there's like another element, a layer, I think, with the sheriff himself, like something he did. He essentially was like acquitted for or something. I feel like I caught something. But yeah, Rebel Ridge, I was like, I could easily rewatch this movie. It is for sure. It is so fun and satisfying to watch. And it scratched an itch I didn't know I had. Like, it just like hit that spot. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that was there.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah.
Delightful.
Like Heather says, though, it's a shame it wasn't in theaters.
Yeah, that would have been cool. It would have been cool. And it's very tame. I mean, as far as a Saulnier movie.
Yeah.
I mean, compared to Green Room, this is like the least violent.
Yeah.
I don't know about Blue Ruin, if that is more or less violent than Green Room.
It's the violence is spread out, but it's just as intense.
Yeah. Or Murder Party. Murder Party is more comical violence.
Murder Party is more comical and also silly. I don't know. It's
silly, goofy.
Yeah, but it's brutal. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know.
I
feel like Blue Ruin has like a relatable sadness to it, and Green Room.
Because it follows like a kind of just an average guy, right?
Yeah. And then Green Room is like, it has a tension and like this fear component that just never stops throughout the whole thing. And this is more like a social injustice frustration. Yeah.
I wanted to see more of his like, because like the allusion to his like training, whereas like they found a different purpose for me in the States, and they talk about like the specific division of the Marines. Where it's like, shit, I want to know more about that. I want to see more of that type of stuff. Yeah, I want to join. I want to.
Can he teach me?
Because I was like, damn, this guy's badass. Yeah, it was the badass of the year, maybe.
I think so. And he came. I mean, I know Aaron Pierre's been in a lot of other stuff. I just haven't seen much of those titles. But I think solidified himself as like, this guy's a fucking star.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see more with him in it.
Like another Michael Jai White.
I was like, is this guy got like gray eyes?
He's got like wolf eyes.
They're just very light brown eyes. Yeah. And man, these piercing eyes.
I know.
Do you know that John Boyega was set to be?
Yeah.
Like they were like in production.
Really?
Yeah, they were in production. He didn't show up on set one day, and they went to his hotel to kind of retrieve him, and he checked out and left.
What?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
And I know Boyega's, he is being more specific about the roles he's taking. And I don't know if it's just like, well, if this is just going to be a Netflix movie, I don't want to be a part of it.
They didn't call him? Like, hey, where are you?
Yeah, they did. And he's like, I left.
I'm gone.
I'm gone. I'm hanging out with Joaquin Phoenix.
I know. It's like, that's like even worse. It's like even worse. Already like shooting and you're like, I'm not going to go.
Yeah. So now Aaron Pierre is like, yeah, he's now the guy. And fuck Boyega in that situation.
Well, honestly, it feels better.
Yeah.
It feels better. Because I feel like this guy, he's got the presence of somebody you wouldn't want to fuck with. Boyega, I feel like would have more of an unassuming presence. Like you could underestimate him.
Yeah.
Sorry, Boyega, but I don't know. I feel like that would be a miscast for a movie like this. His performance in this, like when he's talking to him right before that first scene, when he takes him down, and he's like that shit-eating grin, and it is.
Don Johnson, phenomenal scumbag in this.
Yeah,
and also who's the other guy, the actor in it? He plays like his right hand, Don Johnson's right hand man, Emery Cohen.
Oh yeah,
I saw an interaction with Paul Walter Hauser about Emery Cohen in this movie, and he said that Paul Walter Hauser was up for this part as well, and he passed on this part, and he's very glad he did because he saw Emery Cohen doing just a phenomenal scumbag performance.
Yeah. I'm surprised that like he didn't just. I mean, I understand why he didn't just like kill them. It's like but the time I'm like, just like beat the fuck out of him.
Yeah, you're of two minds. You're like, don't do it because then you become the villain.
Yeah.
But at the same time, God, you want him to.
I know.
And the finale is like, oh, that's how it ends.
Yeah,
And I don't want to say anything, but you're like, you're like, how the fuck is he going to get out of this? And is there redemption available? Can he ever escape?
Yeah. And starring also Roy from The Office and
David Denman
and the girl that's helping him,
Anna Sophia Robb,
is she played in The Way Back as the sort of love interest, much younger back then.
That and Bridge to Terabithia as well.
Yeah. So yeah, Rebel Ridge, super high recommend for myself.
Yeah,
I recommend this to me to watch again. Breaking news: Rebel Ridge received a 12-minute standing ovation from me in my living room.
At my living room.
Yeah.
Very good.
But yeah, anything else?
No, I think that's it. We had a great long show considering we only had two of us here.
Yeah.
But Tyler, I hope you're doing well. Hope we see you next week. It'll be sad we aren't going to be able to hear your take on Do the Right Thing, which is coming up very soon here.
Yeah.
If you're on the YouTube, just give us about 15 minutes. We're going to take a quick break and order some boba, and then and then we'll come back for our review of Do the Right Thing. If you're in podcast land, that episode will drop on Wednesday. So until next time. Oh, I forgot. I have to thank the cool SCR duties. We got some in the chat. Heather. Thank you to our cool SCR duties. That's over on Patreon. Javier, Heather, Michael, Steven, and Chris. And I think Steven is in chat too. He was for a hot second. The Maple Syrup Don.
Yeah.
If you want to support us on Patreon, you can hit us up on patreon.com/middleclassfilmclass or just tune into the YouTube. That is what we are looking for. What is that?
It was me.
Oh, okay.
Our mouses are
Our mouse is interlinked.
Yeah.
So anyways, thank you so much for joining us. And thank you to Isaac Florentine, director of Hounds of War. That's coming out on video on demand this Friday, September 20th. Go give it a look. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/MCFC podcast, and send us an email, mcfcpodcast@gmail.com.
And follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Middle Class Film Class, and on Twitter at Podcast MCFC, and leave us a voicemail at
630-209-630-7010.
Yeah, and like and subscribe to us on YouTube, please. If you're a listener and you're not subscribed, please subscribe.
That's right. See you next time.
See ya.
Class dismissed.
I gotta get out of here.
The bell doesn't dismiss you. I dismiss you.
You're free to go.
See you next week.
See you later. See you later.
That's a wrap.
Great show.